Hey everybody, what's up? Told you I was going to try to keep up with this YouTube page of mine, and I'm leaving Paris, Kentucky now. A great primetime wrestling show. So I felt like, I had the time to reflect on the past week of wrestling for me, and I'm riding by myself, so I get to talk to myself, and you get to watch me talk to myself. So first off, if you're watching, thank you for watching. But I had in my head, I can type a big long Facebook post out about how this week was in my wrestling, and then I just really want to try to keep up with this YouTube channel. So stay on me if you see me start to slip. I'm going to try hard to eventually figure it out and do my best. So bear with me. But this week was a really cool week for me. Not only for me, but for the Academy kids that come to our Legends Pro Wrestling School. And it started out Wednesday at Rockstar Pro Wrestling. And my buddy Victor Vargas, who I'm extremely proud of for what he's been able to achieve and what he's been able to do over the last few months in his own wrestling journey. The guy came to me in a bad situation as far as learning to wrestle, and he started out at a place that was half-assed and getting taught by people that didn't know what they were doing, and it was just very unorganized where he was at, and he turned his back on any sort of wrestling schools in Kentucky. And thankfully he had a buddy of his that turned him on to Legends Pro Wrestling Academy, and he works hard. I can't tell you, I'm proud of every kid that comes through there. I'm proud of every student that invests in themselves to take the academy, because it's a tough academy. So if you ever want to join Legends Pro Wrestling Academy, it's not a cakewalk. So they have it extremely hard to do what they do, and Victor Vargas is one of those guys that took through all the downfalls of being shafted around by a half-ass company that probably shouldn't have a wrestling school to begin with, and trained by people who probably shouldn't be teaching wrestling to begin with. So he didn't really learn anything while he was there. He just learned to be bitter towards pro wrestling in Kentucky, and I'm glad that he came to our academy. But I took him to Dayton, Ohio for Rockstar Pro, which is a great promotion out of Dayton, Ohio, and it was his first time there, and we got to tag together. We got to be in the main event in a multi-person, multi-team tag team match, and he went out there. He did really well, and I'm sure that Dayton and Rockstar Pro will have him back, and I'm just extremely proud to. I can go to Dayton and wrestle every week, and do singles matches. I've been the Rockstar Pro World Champion. I've been a part of a lot of cool things with Rockstar Pro, but I think the coolest thing that I've got to do so far at Rockstar Pro is be able to take one of our kids from the academy up there, not only get to be in the ring with him, but tag with him on top of him be in the main event and get over, and the people loved him. So I'm confident that Rockstar Pro will bring him back. I'm confident that he'll do great things at Rockstar Pro. So keep an eye out for Victor Vargas, and I'm sure I'll talk about him more throughout this video, because he's been with me all week. The next night was the beginning of TPI 2019, and this first round action, they had 12 matches, and the arena was extremely hot. It was like 100 degrees in there. The air conditioner broke, and just anything that could happen did happen, and everyone went out there and absolutely killed themselves, and everyone out there and put on a really good wrestling match for their opportunity to go into the second, third, and finals of TPI Night 2. I think, I wrestled with Steve Mack, who is extremely talented out of the New Jersey area. We never got our singles match. We got to be together. Well, we had a singles match prior, but I feel like this one was a much better than our first. And Steve's a hell of a competitor. But, he had to fall to the best hand in the house. But, just thinking back on that tournament alone and some of the stuff that we've seen, I think from what I've seen is I see a lot of young talent that's hungry on this side of the country. I see a lot of young talent that constantly goes out there and destroys it in every match that they get the opportunity to do. And Blake Christian went out there and great match. And I got to watch the main event, which was Kevin Giza and Logan James, who absolutely destroyed it. Jason Kincaid, Aaron Williams, just the list goes on. Congo Kong. This tournament is so full. I love the Ted Petty tournament so much because it brings out the best in everyone, and I feel like you get all the bang for your buck in this tournament. In particular, I think that Logan James and Giza stole the show rightfully in the main event. Those guys went out there and they hit a Spanish fly off of the guardrail to the floor, not in the ring. So, these guys are just so hungry, so young, and they've took opportunity and they've challenged themselves from being in the OVW system, which is fine. But they wanted to try to get out and kind of do their own thing and venture and just be more creative, I guess, so to speak. And so they came to IWA and they're standing on their own, So, those guys went out there and done things that most people can't do, and I think that they had a moment there because they know that they went out there and kind of stole the show, I guess. From what I've seen, it was well worthy for match of the night with TPI Night 1, and just a really good time to cap off Thursday, and then of course we came back night 2 of TPI, and I got to share the ring with Adam Slade and Joey Ryan in the second round, and what an experience that was. I feel like go out there with a guy like Joey Ryan that gets millions of views on anything that he does. So you're already on a big scale with TPI, and now you're on an even bigger scale with TPI, and you're in the ring with Joey Ryan and Adam Slade, who is another up and comer who has completely changed himself. When I first met Adam Slade, he had a skullet, he was wearing a tank top to the ring, he had blue jeans, and he was just struggling to find himself, and now you fast forward a year or two later, and he's one of the best wrestlers going today. I feel like Adam Slade is such a good talent that so many people are missing out on, and I'm glad that he's where he's at and he's achieving what he's achieving, and nothing but big things will come out of that. And then Joey Ryan made him touch his dick, and I wasn't going to touch Joey Ryan's dick. I did punch Joey Ryan in the dick, and my hand is still hurting from this hand's knocked out a lot of people. This hand has won many a titles. This hand has won many a matches. This hand has hurt many a jaws. I don't know what that guy's packing, but whenever I hit that guy's junk, man, I'm gonna tell you right now, I thought my hand was broke. But I went on to win that match because I didn't punch Joey Ryan in the dick anymore. I knew I needed to punch him in the face. So when I punched him in the face, I got the win. So, that was a really fun match. It was lots of fun, lots of good moments in there, and just the crowd is so appreciative of all styles of wrestling, and I feel like we gave them something completely different than what they had seen prior going in. So I was happy to be a part of that. From there, my next match was with someone that I had seen pretty much explode and take off over the last 4 months. You know, him and also Alex Zane, who I want to get a match with. Somebody book Larry D versus Alex Zane, and he said it perfect today on his own social media. Was he wants to see it on the wildest and the craziest spectacle we can get it on. He wants to wrestle me, and I feel the same way. I think that match needs to happen. I feel like those guys are going to get signed to exclusive contracts with a big company very, very, very soon. So I would love to get that match before they do. I was blessed to get in there with Blake Christian, and he's a hell of a wrestler, hell of an athlete, and he takes a hell of an ass whooping. At the end of the day, he fell victim to the best hand in the house, and I had to give him a knockout. So, and from there, I went on to the finals against Aaron Williams. And again, this building was extremely hot. It was extremely dehydrating to me. You know, it was just so hot with the air out, and everyone's still giving their all. And, you know, I can't speak for Aaron, but I know whenever I was coming to the ring, I'd give everything I had. I felt like there was nothing more that I could really give to the match except for what I was about to do, you know. And I feel like seeing Aaron come to the ring, I knew that he was in the same boat as I was. So, you know, we went out there and we threw down for a good while. And I felt like we put on a really good main event for TPI, and you know, love him, hate him, respect him, whatever you got to do. You know, my hat's off to Aaron Williams, because Aaron Williams is one of the best wrestlers I've ever faced. Aaron Williams is one of the most talented wrestlers that I've ever faced. Aaron Williams is a guy that is just so good. You know, I mean, I don't know how else to put it except, you know, he's so good. And to be up there and compete with an Aaron Williams who had already won two TPIs in a row. He had just won the title from Congo Kong the match before, the round before, you know, or the first match of the second round. You know, he walks out the IWA World Champion. Then he had to go on, defend it against Jason Kincaid, and then he had to go on and defend it against me in the finals. So, you know, his walk to the finals of TPI this year was probably the most difficult for him. Now, anyone that he's in there with, any TPI is a difficult path. So, you know, I think this year was super difficult for him, for who he had to go against, and the draw. Felt like we went out there and we gave our all. I felt like we gave the fans their money's worth. Felt like we gave our friends who were watching, that probably wasn't in the tournament or just there in general, felt like everyone left knowing that Aaron Williams and myself left it all on the table, and there was nothing left to give, because we laid it all out there in the ring like you're supposed to on a tournament of Ted Petty. And, you know, we've had our ups and downs. He kicked my wife in the head. He's done some awful things, and, you know, you don't have to like someone to respect someone. And you know, Aaron Williams is definitely a guy that I respect. I don't have to like him, but I definitely respect him. Respect him for the athlete that he is. I respect him for the wrestler that he is. I also respect him for the amount of time that he's put in, and why Aaron Williams and even myself, you know, we get opportunities, but I feel like we need more. I feel like we deserve more opportunity on a bigger scale than what we get. And hopefully one day before him and I decide to shut it down and wrestle our last match and leave our boots in the middle of the ring, I would hope that you know, we would get our shot at what we worked so hard for. We left it out there, like I said, and you know, he wanted it just as bad as I did, and maybe I just wanted it a little bit more. And you know, I feel like Aaron Williams is top. You know, wrestler in the world. I think he can go with anybody. So, you won't hear me say it much, but my hat's off to Aaron Williams for the wrestler that he is and what he's done, and just bringing out the best in me in IWA, because a majority of my matches have been against Aaron Williams, and they've been bangers. I feel like it's just the way it is. We work hard, he works hard, I work hard, and when you put two workhorses in there together, and I feel like you're going to have a pretty good match, and that's what we do, I feel. And I'm blessed to be a 3-time IWA world champion. It's an honor that a lot of people don't get to do, or a lot of people don't get to really achieve. Being an IWA world champion one time should be plenty. I've been blessed enough to do it 3, and now I've got TPI under my belt, and it's just such an honor to do that. And I thank the IWA, I thank Ian, I thank everyone there. I wish that my dad could be there to see it, but he was back home, and he had my son there at home, and I know that he's super excited to know that I went on to win a tournament that's been puts me in an elite group with wrestlers that are on to do big things and making millions of dollars now, and they've been IWA world champion. They've been Ted Petty winners themselves. So just a huge honor. I can still tell you about it, but unless you were there to really feel the vibe and feel the way it was, man, it's hard to explain. And I wish my dad was there to see that. I know that he's happy now when I tell him about it, but I would love for him to have been able to see it, live, and see everything go down in live action. My wife was there, my brothers were there, and the man that married my wife and I was there, the man that I consider my brother. I share teaching the students, the academy students, with him, and just him being there when I come back through the curtain and telling me that he loved me, embracing me in a hug, because I could genuinely feel that he was just as happy for me as I was happy for winning it. And it's what wrestling will do for you. And a lot of people, they have this petty heat, and they have issues, and the thing that I can tell you about that is you need to find your core group of people and that love what you love, and we love pro wrestling. And I found my group of guys, and when I came through and I was pouring the sweat, I was drenched, covered in nasty, whatever, and my man was back there, and he was clean, he was showered, he was not dirty, not sweating, and the first thing he did was wrap me up in a hug and tell me how proud he was of me, and that he loved me, and that means the world to me, to be able to share the things that I share with him. And my best friend Max Sled was there, sitting there, and he got to watch me achieve something not a lot of people get to achieve. And I wish my children were there, and just so many people that I wish were there that could have been there, or that couldn't have made it. I wish that they could have. But all in all, it was a great TPI. I'm blessed. I'm honored. I'm happy. I'm ready to see what comes from here. I'm ready to defend the title against anybody that they put in front of me. I want the best. I want whoever is the best. I want them. I want to prove to them that I need to be on the next level, and I feel like that IWA title proves that I can wrestle on the next level. I know I can wrestle on the next level. I just need my opportunity. Then after TPI was over, the next day I got to do something really cool that I love doing. You've heard me talk about my academy here. You've heard me talk about helping people out and doing things like that, and you've just heard me really, really be passionate about the academy. And I got to go teach a wrestling seminar for EWE, which they hooked me up with this really cool shirt. Thank you, by the way. And I had probably 8 or 10 people in the seminar that trust me, that are willing to invest in themselves to learn what I have to spread, and in particular, there was 2 guys from Oklahoma that wasn't booked on this event, and they drove. One of them rode 13 hours. The other drove 2 hours to get the guy and drive 13. So one of the guys rented a vehicle, which is not cheap if you've ever rented a vehicle. He rented a vehicle. He went and drove 15 hours total just to pay money for me to teach him a little bit to become a better wrestler. And thankfully they got opportunities on the show that night. But it means the world to me that people will drive 13 hours or 13 plus hours just to share the ring and get to hear some knowledge from me. And it's really cool, And I got to wrestle the show that night. I got to wrestle an OVW guy, Golden Cage, really good looking kid, really talented. He comes from a well-established training school himself. So, it's really cool to do that. And, I've heard good things about him, and I finally got to get in the ring with him. So, and then to top it off, we had the Annie Kelly Memorial right here in Paris, Kentucky, tonight, which, will be this past Sunday to you guys when you see this. Always an emotional show. I cried during the hype video. I cried thinking about Annie and what she meant to us, and I'm just glad that PTW constantly is doing everything they can to keep our family's memories alive. And my grandmother was mentioned, my wife's dad was mentioned, Annie was mentioned, Max's mother was mentioned, and it just means the world to me that we continue to do that. So that's going to be on DVD. Please buy it. I'm going to wrap this up because I'm about home, but all in all, I love pro wrestling. I love you guys for loving it just like I love it, whether you're watching this as a worker, wrestler, whether you're watching this as a fan. Thank you for everything that you guys have done for me. Thank you for sharing any kind of seminars, any posters that I'm on. I love you guys. Don't be too harsh on me on this video. Like I say, I'm going to work on trying to get things edited better. I'm going to try to get more content up, but please, if you like it, share, subscribe, whatever you got to do. I don't know. I'm not too hip to the gimmick, but I'm going to be. See you guys.